Individually, they're icons. Jay-Z, a hip-hop mogul with a fortune in the billions. Beyoncé, a global superstar whose influence is unparalleled. Together, they're a dynasty. But what happens when his carefully built world, or her meticulously crafted image, is rocked by scandals that would have absolutely wrecked most other careers? And we're not just talking about whispers here. These are incidents that blew up in the public eye, making us all wonder what was really going on with each of them. Beyoncé Knowles Carter and Sean Jay-Z Carter. Their names individually evoke massive success and cultural power. For decades, each has navigated superstardom, often appearing untouchable. Yet their paths have been anything but smooth, marked by controversies that fascinated and sometimes horrified us. Today, we're diving into the shocking scandals that shook Jay-Z to his core, and the crises that tested Beyoncé's incredible resilience. Stuff that, for anyone else, probably would have meant game over. So, how did each of them not only survive these personal storms, but also contribute to their combined legend, making them arguably bigger and more influential than before? This first major scandal threw Jay-Z squarely into the eye of the storm. Alright, let's rewind to 2014. The Met Gala, fashion's biggest night, had just ended. But for Jay-Z, the real drama was unfolding behind closed doors, specifically inside an elevator at the Standard Hotel. Grainy, silent security footage got leaked, and there it was, Jay-Z being physically attacked by his sister-in-law, Solange Knowles. His wife Beyoncé was right there, looking composed, but you could tell, seriously tense. That footage involving Jay-Z went viral almost instantly, and boom, a firestorm of theories. What on earth could make the usually chill Solange lash out at him like that? The Carter-Knowles camp? Dead silent. And that silence just made the rumors fly even faster. Those whispers about Jay-Z cheating, which had been bubbling under the surface for a while, suddenly boiled over. Was this it? Was this the moment his carefully curated marriage image just shattered? The public reaction was huge. Tabloids went nuts, picking apart every single frame of that video focused on Jay-Z, every old lyric of his, every public appearance, looking for clues about his alleged actions. So many people thought, this is the beginning of the end for them. The whole thing was raw, it was public, and it was incredibly embarrassing for Jay-Z. It hinted at some serious messiness involving him that just didn't fit their usual united front. For weeks, everyone was asking, how can he possibly bounce back from this? Well, their comeback strategy was pretty much a masterclass in controlling the story around Jay-Z. First, a joint family statement, rare for them, talking about unity and love, basically saying it was a private family thing they'd already sorted out. Then, Beyoncé, always the savvy artist, gave a little nod to it in her flawless remix, singing, "Of course, sometimes shit goes down when it's $1 billion on an elevator." Pretty clever, right? She acknowledged the incident involving her husband without getting into dirty details, kind of downplaying its seriousness while also reminding everyone of their insane wealth and status. They started being seen together, looking like a solid team. The storm didn't break Jay-Z, they just soaked it up. And the story started to change from, are they splitting? To, wow, how did he handle that? The focus shifted from the drama itself to their cool, if a bit mysterious, way of dealing with a crisis centered on him. Next, we delve into the earth-shattering infidelity saga, a crisis that saw Beyoncé lay bare her pain, prompting Jay-Z's own public response. If the elevator incident was a crack, then Beyoncé's 2016 visual album, Lemonade, was a full-blown earthquake for her world. It ripped open the wounds in her marriage for the whole world to see. And this wasn't just any album, it was Beyoncé's deeply personal, heart-wrenching journey through betrayal, pure rage, and finally, a very fragile kind of forgiveness. Her lyrics like "Becky with the good hair" instantly became iconic, a code word for the other woman, pretty much confirming years of quiet rumors about Jay-Z stepping out and the pain she endured. The impact of Beyoncé's revelation was massive. She laid all her pain out there, turning her private agony into powerful, critically acclaimed art. It was such a bold, vulnerable thing for her to do. So many women saw their own stories in her songs, and Becky became this huge online mystery, with fans desperately trying to figure out who the alleged mistress was. Honestly, the whole scandal could have easily blown up, further villainizing Jay-Z, but instead, it profoundly highlighted Beyoncé's strength and artistry. The rawness of Lemonade was truly shocking. Here's this incredibly famous, intensely private woman basically airing her deepest marital problems. It was a huge gamble that showcased her incredible resilience. Then, Jay-Z had to face the music. In 2017, he dropped his own soul-searching album, 444. If Lemonade was Beyoncé's accusation and raw pain, 444 was Jay-Z's confession, his apology, and his plea to make things right. He didn't shy away from his cheating, rapping, "I apologize," often womanized, "took for my child to be born," see through a woman's eyes. He talked about the shame, his fear of losing his family, and how damn hard it is to rebuild trust. This artistic dialogue, initiated by Beyoncé, was unprecedented. They weren't just selling music, Beyoncé was selling her resilience, Jay-Z his redemption in response. The On the Run 2 tour in 2018, which raked in over $253 million, was like a victory lap, a public show of their reunited front. It proved they could collectively turn personal turmoil into professional triumph, with Beyoncé's art processing the pain and Jay-Z's seeking atonement, making their public bond appear even deeper. Beyond the explosive stuff, there's been this quieter but persistent controversy that has specifically shadowed Jay-Z for years. Questions surrounding the timeline of his relationship with Beyoncé and their age difference. Beyoncé has stated her side. She was 18 when she met Jay-Z, and they started dating when she was 19, after a year of friendship. But Jay-Z himself, in a few interviews, has hinted that he knew her when she was younger, perhaps around 16. Old photos showing them together when Beyoncé would have been considered underage have also surfaced. This difference in accounts has fueled a lot of online debate and speculation for ages, focusing on Jay-Z. Now, to be clear, there's never been any solid proof or formal accusation of anything illegal or inappropriate happening involving Jay-Z while Beyoncé was a minor. Still, that ambiguity has made some people a little uneasy about his role in the relationship's beginnings. Especially now, with heightened awareness of power dynamics and age gaps, particularly if a minor is involved, these questions, even without proof, could have thrown a really damaging spotlight on how his iconic love story began. Think about it. If these rumors about Jay-Z's early interactions with a teenage Beyoncé had gained more mainstream traction, or if solid proof of an earlier romantic involvement had emerged, the fallout could have been huge, especially for Jay-Z's image. It could have led to some very awkward questions about grooming or taking advantage of a young, rising star on his part. But Jay-Z has mostly ridden this out by them sticking to their story and, frankly, by the passage of time. Beyoncé's consistent line about dating Jay-Z at 19 has pretty much become the accepted version for most people, deflecting intense scrutiny from him. Plus, their decades-long relationship, marriage, and family have somewhat overshadowed those early questions for many. So, while the internet still loves to debate it, without any real evidence of wrongdoing on Jay-Z's part, it's mostly stayed within online forums instead of blowing up into a career-ending disaster for him. His resilience here seems to stem from their solid public image as a family now, and the lack of hard proof to substantiate the more troubling theories about his early days with Beyoncé. The once brotherly relationship between Jay-Z and Kanye West has seen years of public feuds. But in early 2025, things took an exceptionally ugly and personal turn when Kanye West launched a social media rampage, aiming his fire directly at the children of Jay-Z and Beyoncé. For Beyoncé, a fiercely protective mother, this attack on her young children must have been deeply painful and brought her unwillingly into the fray. In a string of posts on X, formerly Twitter, around March 2025, which he later deleted, West made some truly offensive and disturbing comments about the Carter twins, Rumi and Sir, who were 7 at the time. He reportedly said some awful things questioning their intelligence and even speculated about how they were conceived. The public backlash against West was instant and brutal. Attacking kids? That's a line you just don't cross, even in the often nasty world of celebrity beefs. For Beyoncé, known for fiercely guarding her children's privacy, especially the twins who are rarely seen publicly, this must have been a deeply painful and infuriating moment. The focus shifted to her as a mother having to endure such a public and vile attack on her family. What happened next was that West got widely slammed, and a wave of public sympathy went out to Beyoncé and her family. It really highlighted how nasty public arguments can get, and how vulnerable even the most powerful celebrities are when it comes to their families. This scandal wasn't about something Beyoncé did, but something done to her family, and specifically to her young children. Her response? Classic Beyoncé style, public silence, but reportedly private action was being considered with Jay-Z. Sources said Beyoncé was, understandably, furious, and they were figuring out how to handle it, possibly with lawyers. West eventually took down the offensive posts, supposedly not because of remorse, but due to potential social media account suspension. So this whole nasty incident, while horrible, actually ended up making Beyoncé look more sympathetic, like a victim of an unhinged attack on her maternal role. Her resilience here was all about keeping her dignity, protecting her kids by not getting into a public mudslinging war, and just letting public opinion firmly take her side against West's totally unacceptable behavior. Just when you thought Jay-Z had sailed through his roughest seas, late 2024 brought a brand new, shocking allegation directly against him. In December, Jay-Z was named in a civil lawsuit that also involved Sean Diddy Combs. This lawsuit, filed by a Jane Doe, accused both music moguls, including Jay-Z, of sexually assaulting her when she was just 13 years old, way back in 2000 at an MTV Video Music Awards after-party. The accuser claimed she was drugged and raped by both men, and that another unnamed female celebrity was supposedly there. These allegations against Jay-Z were horrifying, and with all the legal drama already swirling around Diddy, it immediately cast a dark cloud over Jay-Z. His response? Fast and furious. Through his lawyers, Jay-Z flat out denied everything, calling the claims targeting him a blackmail attempt and provably, demonstrably false. He made it clear he wouldn't settle, meaning he was ready to fight these accusations hard. The potential damage to Jay-Z was massive. We're not talking about cheating rumors here. These were accusations of a serious crime involving a kid. In today's world, especially after the Me Too movement, claims like that, even in a civil suit and unproven, could have been absolutely catastrophic for Jay-Z's reputation, his big brand deals, and his whole legacy. The cancel culture voices got louder, with many wondering how he could possibly keep his public standing with such serious accusations hanging over him. But this particular storm, though it was fierce, didn't legally threaten Jay-Z for too long. In a pretty big twist in February 2025, the accuser voluntarily dismissed the lawsuit against Jay-Z and Diddy with prejudice, which means it can't be filed again. Roc Nation, Jay-Z's company, put out a statement calling it a win for him, and saying again that the allegations were baseless and made up. Jay-Z himself even released a personal statement, acknowledging the stress his family went through, and stressing that while courts need to protect victims, they also have to protect innocent people like himself from false accusations. So, while getting the case dismissed was a legal victory for Jay-Z, the memory of such serious claims can stick around. Still, the fact that it was dismissed so quickly, along with Jay-Z's strong and immediate denial, probably helped lessen any long-term damage for a lot of his fans. It showed he had a strong legal game and could shut down what he insisted was a bogus claim, fast. So, how have Jay-Z and Beyoncé individually and collectively not just survived scandals that could have ended their careers, but in many ways actually fortified their legends? Several factors stand out. First, their strategic use of art. Jay-Z had to weather the storm of the elevator incident, and later, the grave 2024 allegations, often relying on strategic silence or strong legal rebuttals. Beyoncé, on the other hand, famously transformed her private nightmare of infidelity into the public narrative of Lemonade, a work of pain and resilience. Each controlled their narrative because they, or their actions, became the narrators of their respective experiences. Secondly, their presented united front, particularly crucial for Jay-Z after the elevator incident and the age gap questions, and for Beyoncé during the infidelity saga and the attacks on her children, has been vital. Joint tours after personal crises became symbols of their enduring partnership, showcasing a powerful image of solidarity. They understand the power of what things look like. Thirdly, their immense individual and combined wealth and influence cannot be ignored. Jay-Z's net worth is reportedly a mind-blowing $2.5 billion as of early 2025, and Beyoncé's is around $800 million. Together, that's about $3.3 billion. This financial power gives each of them unparalleled control and access to top-tier legal and PR resources. Lawyers, PR, you name it, that most people can only dream of. And finally, both Jay-Z and Beyoncé have mastered the art of strategic silence and selective revelation. Often, one or both will lay low when a scandal first breaks, letting people speculate like crazy, only to address it later, usually indirectly through their music, as Beyoncé often does, or carefully chosen public appearances or statements, as seen with Jay-Z. This builds up this air of mystery and control, making whatever they finally say hit even harder. These public trials, once they get through them, seem to just add more layers to who they are. It makes them look not like perfect, flawless idols, but like complex humans who face stuff and overcome it. And weirdly enough, that can actually make their fans even more loyal to each of them. From elevator altercations challenging Jay-Z's composure to Beyoncé's public processing of Infidelity and Lemonade, from quiet, persistent questions about Jay-Z's past to disgusting attacks on their children that surely tested Beyoncé's maternal strength, and finally to Jay-Z facing down serious legal accusations, they have individually faced the ringer with scandals. Every single one of these had the potential to tear down his or her career, their marriage, and those carefully polished public images. Yet, time and time again, he has shown an ability to navigate legal and personal attacks, and she has demonstrated an incredible capacity to transform pain into power. Their combined story is a wild mix of love, betrayal, astute business acumen on both their parts, and an undeniable shared talent for mastering the modern fame game. So, what do you think? How has Jay-Z managed to navigate such serious allegations and scrutiny? How has Beyoncé transformed personal pain and family attacks into such powerful public statements or dignified silences? Were there ever moments you thought his or her career was genuinely on the ropes? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. And hey, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more explorations into the celebrity world.